Assalamualaikum and welcome back to my video presentation on problem-based learning. In this presentation, I will be sharing one of the most comprehensive PBL assessment models in medical education, Howard Barrow's PBL Assessment Model. An American physician and medical educator, Howard S. Barrows is best known today for his contribution on the establishment of PBL at McMaster University Medical School, Canada, in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Trained as a neurologist, he was also well known for many other innovations in medical education, including assessing clinical skills using simulated patients and studying clinical reasoning using stimulated recall techniques. As the founding father of PBL, his name was also attached to the PBL assessment model as Barrow's PBL assessment model. Barrow's PBL assessment model consists of three main phases. One, the assessment carried out within the tutorial groups. Two, end of unit tutorial summative self and peer assessment. And three, summative assessment at the end of the unit or curriculum. One, the assessment carried out within the tutorial groups. This recurrent formative self and peer assessments carried out at the end of the group's work with each problem are designed to provide each group member with awareness and feedback about problems in their performances so that corrective measures might be undertaken. They are also designed to provide each learner with skills in self-assessment and the assessment of others. The information about each learner's performance in these assessments is not recorded. The expectations are that the performance problem identified will be corrected and not appear at the end of subsequent problems. When the group has completed its work with a problem, each member provides a verbal self-assessment of his or her performance in each of these four aspects of the learning outcomes. One is problem-solving performance, two is self-directed learning performance, three, performance as a member of the group, and four, quality and extent of learning. One, problem-solving performance. Problem-solving performance occurs for the most part when the problem was initially encountered. Among the questions in the line are: 1. How well did the learner problem solve? 2. Did the learner think he or she generated an appropriate set of hypotheses? 3. How skillful was the learner's inquiry? And 4. Was the learner able to synthesize the problem and make good decisions about the cause and management? Since problem solving is a group process and no one performs the entire process in front of the group, this critique has to be based on the group member's recall of his or her own thinking about the problem at the time. 2. Self-directed learning performance. Among the questions in the line are: 1. How appropriate was the member's awareness of his or her learning needs or gaps? 2. How appropriate was the learner's choice of learning resources? 3. How well did the learner carry out the obligation to bring information and resources back to the group with the learning issues he or she was given to research? And 4. How reliable was the information provided? 3. Performance as a member of the group. Among the questions in the line are: 1. How well did the learner perform as a member of the group? 2. Was the learner too quiet and withdrawn or overly dominant? 3. Was the learner sensitive to the needs and concerns of others in the group? 4. Did the learner carry the weight in the group's discussion? 5. Was the learner willing to learn from others and provide information to others as appropriate? 6. If the learner was a scribe, how well did he or she perform that role? 4. Quality and extent of learning. Among the question in the line is: what was his or her gain in knowledge for the disciplines related to the particular unit. At the completion of each learner's self-assessment, the others in the group are then asked to make any comments that they have about the accuracy of the learner's self-assessment and his or her performance in the group, and any additional comments they may have. This only works well if the facilitator has prepared the group to be open and honest in their feedback, often by providing example of this type of feedback in the early stages of the group's progress. This type of assessment provides valuable information about learners' competencies in reasoning, self-directed learning, and team skills that are important for career success but are rarely assessed in the traditional educational setting. 2. End of a unit tutorial summative self and peer assessment. At the end of a unit, after the last problem, the same procedure described in the first phase of Barrow's Pbl Assessment Model just now is carried out by the group in a more formal manner, following these 3 steps. Step 1. Self and peer assessment a week before the end of the last problem. Step 2. Setting a special session to discuss the result of the assessment. And step 3. Facilitators reviewing the result of the assessment. Step 1. A week before the end of the last problem, each member of the group is given a report form to fill out in which he or she assesses his or her performance in the areas described previously, as well as his or her assessment of the performance of each member in the group in the same areas, which is the problem-solving performance, self-directed learning performance, performance as a group member, and quality and extent of learning. Step 2. A special session set aside to discuss the result of this assessment procedure, including the assessment by the facilitator on the same areas described previously. The meeting is attended by members of the group and the facilitator. Each member presents his or her result of the assessment. Likewise, the facilitator is also going to present his or her result of assessment on each group member. The detail of the assessment of each learner should be written down in a report to be compiled as a formal assessment report. Step 3. The facilitator should review the assessment report to identify the attainment of the learning outcomes and for further improvement in future learning. This summative tutorial self and peer assessment tests the following. 1. Problem-solving skills. 2. Self-directed learning skills. 3. Team skills. 4. Knowledge acquisition. And 5. Self-assessment skills. 3. Summative assessment at the end of a unit or curriculum. This is the PBL equivalent of the final examination. In this assessment, each learner performs on his or her own, not within the group. It complements the information obtained from the tutorial summative assessment and provides a cross-check on the information. It also reassures those faculty members who are uncomfortable with the responsibility that is given to the learners for their own learning. The final assessment helps to satisfy this concern of faculty members, yet at the same time does not interfere with the learner's responsibility for their own learning. Among the necessary requirements of this final assessment are: 1. This assessment will require each learner to work individually on the selected problems, which is at least 3 selected problems similar to those used in the learning unit. 2. They will have to be able to apply and recall the most important knowledge and skills learned through while working on these problems in the tutorial group. 3. Each learner will have to submit the final report with a description of his or her understanding of the problem and how it should be managed or solved. This final summative assessment produces information about problem-solving skills, problem write-up skills, self-assessment and self-directed learning skills, and probes the depths of knowledge relative to problems typical of the unit for the individual learner. The recall and use of knowledge assessed without threatening the learner-centered requirement of PBL. It complements the information from the summative assessment within the tutorial group and provides a cross-check on its finding. This final summative assessment tests the following: 1. Problems analysis and problem solving skills. 2. Problem write-up skills. 3. Problem presentation skills. 4. Self-assessment skills. 5. Self-directed learning skills. 6. Knowledge applied to problems. And 7. Ability to verbalize ideas and knowledge. In the next video presentation, I will be sharing the Aalborg University Assessment Model for problem and project-based learning. The model is mainly applied in engineering education and other project-oriented PBL implementation. Thank you very much for your time and kind attention to my presentation. Viewers who are new here, please subscribe to my channel so you will get more notification on my upcoming videos. And don't forget to like and share this video. If you have something to share, please leave the comment below. Have a great day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.